Welcome back, listeners. Tonight, we're diving deeper into the harrowing realities faced by students in Texas schools. The reports we've been getting paint a picture of institutions that resemble prison camps more than places of learning. We've got several teenage callers who are bravely sharing their experiences with us. Let's hear from them now.
Hi, Royal. This is Sarah. My brother was taken away after he refused to take off his hat in class. We haven't seen him since. The school said he was transferred to a special facility for troubled youth, but we can't find any information about it. My parents are devastated.
That's horrifying, Sarah. Dr. Hartman, what do you make of this?
Royal, based on the accounts we've heard, it's clear that the situation in Texas schools has spiraled out of control. The lack of transparency from the state regarding its youth authority system is deeply concerning. It suggests that these institutions are operating with little to no oversight, which allows for gross abuses of power. Sarah's brother could be in one of these so-called special facilities, which are essentially black holes where children can be held indefinitely without accountability.
Royal, this is Jason. I was one of those kids who challenged the authority. After I stood up for my friend, they took me to the principal's office, but I never made it there. I was locked in a room for 2 days with no food or water. My parents had no idea where I was. They called the school, but no one gave them any answers. When I got out, I was too scared to tell anyone what really happened.
Jason, that's outrageous. Dr. Hartman, can you believe what we're hearing?
Unfortunately, Royal, I can. The horrifying truth is that we may be looking at systemic abuse and neglect on a massive scale. Without transparency, it's impossible to know how many children have been affected, how long this has been going on, and the full extent of the abuse. These facilities could be engaging in practices that violate basic human rights, all under the guise of discipline and correction.
Hi, Royal. This is Mike. The power cuts are insane. My kids are scared to go to school because the lights can go out any moment, and when they do, things get even worse. No one is there to help, and the teachers use it as an excuse to get even more aggressive.
Mike, that's terrifying. Why do you think the authorities are so indifferent to these tactics?
The indifference from police and courts likely stems from a combination of systemic issues. There might be a lack of proper oversight and accountability mechanisms. Additionally, there could be a broader cultural or political climate that prioritizes punitive measures over educational and rehabilitative approaches. The power crisis exacerbates the situation by creating an environment where chaos can thrive, making it easier for abuses to go unchecked.
Yes, Royal. And it doesn't stop there. I've seen teachers use cattle prods to discipline students. If we don't comply, we're taken to this dark room where we don't see daylight for hours. Some kids don't come back to class for days. When they do, they're different, like they've been brainwashed or something.
Cattle prods? Dr. Hartman, what could be happening in these dark rooms?
Royal, the use of dark rooms and extended isolation can be a form of psychological torture. It's designed to break the will and spirit of the students, making them more compliant. The changes Emily describes in her peers could indicate severe psychological trauma or even brainwashing techniques. The indifference of the police and courts suggests a possible complicity, or at least a gross negligence in protecting these children's rights.
So, we're looking at a combination of physical abuse, psychological torture, and systemic neglect. And all the while, the authorities turn a blind eye. This is not just a failure of the education system, but a humanitarian crisis. Why is nothing being done? Why isn't somebody helping Texas?
The focus on California by the federal government certainly diverts attention and resources away from Texas. But beyond that, we're seeing a failure of the state's institutions to safeguard its most vulnerable citizens. This lack of action could stem from political, economic, and social factors, including the prioritization of punitive measures over proper education and support.
It's a grim picture indeed, and the kids, our future, are the ones paying the price. Thank you, Dr. Hartman, for your insights. We need to keep shining a light on these issues until something is done.